Hello, this is Nadia Olivas, and this is my Week 7 multimedia presentation for our Constitutional Law course. The points that I will be covering in this presentation are who are federal senators, who are our California members of Congress. I will identify who is a map of my congressional district and who are California state senators, and then a map identifying the state senate district, who my state assembly member is, and the map district, and also if gerrymandering is possible in my district. Okay, so I wasn't sure how to list all of the federal senators, so I just put up a map and I'm just gonna read them off. Alabama has Richard Shelby, Doug Jones. Alaska has Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan. Arizona has John McCain and Jeff Flake. Arkansas has John Boozman, Tom Cotton. California has Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris. Colorado has Michael Bennet and Cory Gardner. Connecticut has Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy. Delaware, Tom Carper, Chris Coons. Florida, Bill Nelson, Marco Rubio. Georgia, Johnny Isaacson, David Perdue. Hawaii is Brian Schatz and Mazi Hirono. Idaho is Mike Crapo and Jim Risch. Illinois, Richard Durbin and Tammy Duckworth. Indiana, Joe Donnelly, Todd Young. Iowa, Church Grassley and Joni Ernst. Kansas, Pat Roberts, Jerry Moran. Kentucky, Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul. Louisiana, Bill Cassidy and John Kennedy. Maine, Susan Collins and Angus King. Maryland, Ben Cardin and Chris Van Hollen. Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey. Michigan is Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters. Minnesota is Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith. Mississippi, Roger Wicker and Cindy Hyde-Smith. Missouri, Claire McCaskill and Roy Blunt. Montana, John Tester and Steve Daines. Nebraska, Deb Fisher and Ben Sasse. Nevada, Dean Heller and Catherine Cortez Masto. New Hampshire, Jean Shaheen and Maggie Hassan. New Jersey, Bob Menendez and Cory Booker. New Mexico is Tom Udall and Martin Heinrich. New York is Chuck Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand. North Carolina, Richard Burr and Tom Tillis. North Dakota, John Hoeven and Heidi Heatkamp. Ohio, Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman. Oklahoma is Jim Inhofe and James Lankford. Oregon, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley. Pennsylvania, Bob Cassie and Pat Tomey. Rhode Island, Jack Reed, Sheldon Whitehouse. South Carolina, Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott. South Dakota, John Thine and Mike Rounds. Tennessee, Lamar Alexander and Bob Corker. Texas, John Cornyn, Ted Cruz. Utah, Orrin Hatch, Mike Lee. Vermont, Patrick Leahy and Bernie Sanders. Virginia, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine. Washington is Pat Murray and Maria Cantwell. I can't even read my own writing. West Virginia is Joe Manchin and Shelley Capito. Wisconsin, Ron Johnson and Tammy Baldwin. Wyoming, Mike Enns and John Barrasso. Sorry if I mispronounced some of those names, but there were a lot. My member of Congress for Riverside is Mark Takano, and he represents the 41st District. And I put an image of the map there of the district. California's two senators are Kamala Harris and Dianne Feinstein. My state assembly member is Richard Roth, and he represents the 31st district. And there is the district map there that covers the area that I live in Riverside. Gerrymandering and or redistricting is definitely possible in my area. California is actually one of the few states that has eliminated partisan gerrymandering, and they actually now have what they call an independent commission that draws the election districts. So basically, it's non-politicians or non-elected officials that oversee the election districts to make it more fair and more neutral. The redistricting is definitely changing these days with the new technology that we have that's just making it really easy to redistrict. For my closing slide, I chose this image that your vote counts. In one of our assignments, we were asked what our friends would think or be surprised of with some of those Supreme Court cases. And this is a big one that's in my circle of friends. They don't think their vote counts, and so they don't vote. And I think it's really just because they're not educated on government or the election process for their state or for the nation. But I think if they took the time to inform themselves and be educated, just as I've been throughout my time here at CBU, I think they would understand that their vote does count and it's important to vote. Anyway, I hope you enjoy my presentation and have a blessed week. Thank you.